Today we've got another roundup of some of the most unique or unusual or one-of-a-kind pieces of EDC gear on the market. This is one of my favorite series to do. Got a ton of fun stuff to talk about today, so let's just dive into it. First up, we got a pair of headphones. These are the Denon PerL Pro wireless earbuds. I got a chance to check out the regular Denon PerLs a while back and absolutely loved them. These are the slightly more expensive, but not so much, we'll get into that later, Pro version. The big differentiator with the PerL headphones is that it creates a custom sound profile for your ear. It takes a couple minutes through the app and it visualizes the changes in the EQ based on your ear's needs. And the moral of the story here is that the sound is incredible. They just sound unlike any other wireless earbuds I've tested. Super strong, but controlled and clean bass, tons of separation, really clean highs, solid mids, all around they just sound incredible. My favorite pair of music listening headphones by far. The earbuds themselves have an 8-hour battery life and it's 24 hours with the case itself, and the Pro lineup does come with a wireless charging case so you don't have to plug it in if you don't want to. This is great for me. The fit is super comfortable. I tend to be really finicky with fit for my earbuds. You get a few different size options and some fins if you want to use those. I found that I didn't really need them. They have really strong and solid active noise canceling, which is great. Transparency mode I would say is serviceable, and that's kind of what I say for any headphones I've tried that aren't AirPods, unfortunately. So not, 10 out of 10 transparency, but they definitely make up for it with the noise canceling. You have customizable touch controls for the earbuds themselves. The app overall works really smoothly in my opinion. The Pro version here also supports lossless and spatial audio formats, which is really nice. The kicker here though is that they actually lowered the price of the Pros. They used to be $299, and that was why I tried out the regulars. It just seemed like a really steep ask, but these are discounted right now to $149. I think that is a no-brainer. If you can deal with some slightly subpar transparency mode compared to AirPods, I think these sound 10 times better and are less expensive than the AirPods Pro or the AirPods Pro 2. We'll see when the AirPods Pro 3 come out, but I am extremely impressed with these. I think they come in at a great price. If you care about music listening and audio quality first and foremost, I haven't found anything better than these. Next up is one of the most unique wallet designs I've ever encountered. This is the Grovemade Minimalist wallet. They're known for their desk accessories, of course. They actually used to do a lot more EDC gear early on. They're based here in Portland with me. I've had the pleasure of visiting their factory before. It was super cool. This is actually an old design from 2015 that they brought back to life. I have to say I was skeptical, but I am a fan of this design here. I'm generally not someone that likes hard wallets. I find them really difficult to get in and out of and just way more trouble than they're worth. Ridge wallets are built really well, but I just never got over the ergonomics of actually using one. I could be wrong, it's a personal preference type of thing. But this kind of combines a soft and hard wallet, and it's designed in a way to access that I haven't seen anyone else do. It's essentially an aluminum exterior shell that goes around the outside, but you have vegetable tan leather that wraps around for the main exterior of the body. It definitely feels premium. It absolutely should. The price comes in at $100 for this, which is pretty steep for what it is, but definitely in the realm of all of these minimalist hard wallets anyway. But what I do really like about this is the ease of access for cards. It is a really satisfying and easy just sliding motion to be able to pull things out, push them back in. Holds about 5 cards, which is a pretty good sweet spot for me. Your mileage may vary, maybe 4 and some cash, or 5 and 1 or 2 bills at the most. It's a super solid hard wallet that's a lot easier to get in and out of than any other one I've tried. I don't think I'm necessarily going to be switching to this myself, but I do really like, seeing something different on the market for hard wallets and just wallet designs in general. I think it's really well built, and I love the aluminum and I love the veg tan leather on here. Grovemade always kills it with those finishing types of details. And check it out. I'd love to see some more colors down the road as well. They only have the black on black here. Next up, we've got something truly crazy I've been really excited to talk about. This is the Aurzen Zip. It's the world's first trifold ultra portable projector. I do also want to give a huge thank you to Aurzen for sponsoring this week's video and supporting the channel, but let's dive into this thing. The trifold design is amazing. It allows for a ton of setup options to be able to throw it onto a wall or on a ceiling. It's really great. It also folds up to be absolutely tiny. It's about half the size of my phone and 1 inch thick. Connecting and playing media is super seamless here too. No need to connect to a dedicated Wi-Fi network or even need Wi-Fi at all. It uses AirLink and can mirror your phone screen through the Apple AirPlay settings. It also works for Android and Windows too. And if you do want to connect to a game console or streaming box or something, they also make a wireless HDMI dongle. No need for wires or limitations with what you can connect to. The autofocus and vertical keystone are both top-notch. It features Aurzen's time of flight tech that adjusts literally instantaneously. Really important for devices like these that you'll be throwing on odd surfaces since it's so portable. It also has a vertical screen mode too, which is great for phone usage. So if you're scrolling through TikTok or Instagram, you're not losing out on a ton of screen real estate. There's built-in stereo speakers, a 5,000 milliamp hour battery with a 90-minute battery life, and it has 24-watt USB-C PD fast charging. This thing is just so cool. I love looking at portable projectors, and this is by far the most unique one I've ever seen. Be sure to check the links in the description down below if you want to check it out for yourself. They're running a Kickstarter right now that has a few days left, so be sure to jump on that if it sounds interesting. Huge thanks again to Aurzen for sponsoring this week's video. Next up, we've got a little driver from CRKT. This is the Big Boy Driver tool. I love checking out interesting screwdrivers and drivers. There's so many fun designs out there, and this one really stood out to me. It is a really interesting shape and design here. On the front, you have your quarter bit slot and the sort of textured grip type of handle, but on the back, you have this larger diameter circle with a ball bearing built in. So it's not a ratcheting design with this ball bearing, but I think it's meant to kind of jam into your hand like this. And then you kind of have this more precision work available to you when you have this set up. You can twist and rotate. Because of the way that this is shaped and the way it works, it feels like more of a precision type of driver, more so than something that would need a ton of torque just with the way that it's designed. Not necessarily a bad thing though. They do actually come with a little 1/4 inch to precision bit driver converter. So that is really nice to see. It's about 3 3/4 inches long. It weighs 48 grams. It's made out of aluminum. The bit housing there has a little magnet in there, so it's going to keep the bits in place. I do really like this. It took me some time to figure out how to use it and what to use it for. I do think this type of design would lend itself to a ratcheting mechanism significantly. I think that would make the overall operation much more pleasant with the way that it's shaped, at least how I interpreted it, just because it is a bizarre shape here. So I think if you want to have this kind of jammed into your hand, the ability to ratchet this would make a huge difference in the overall flexibility. It's $25 though, so not overly expensive. A really cool and unique design if you do a lot of sort of small precision type of work. Definitely not my all-time favorite out of all the bit drivers I've tried, but I do think the design is really interesting. Worth checking it out if that sounds good for you. Getting back into some tech, next up, this is the Aukey MagFusion GameFrost charger. This is a little Qi 2 wireless charging puck with built-in active cooling. I first saw the zip projector and this when I was at CES this year. I'm really glad I got the chance to test them out in person. Like most things in these one-of-a-kind roundups, this is a niche within a niche in terms of chargers, but I do really like it. You have a built-in fan that you can toggle on and off. There's 3 different speed modes for the fan itself. I found the fan curve to sound pretty pleasant to my ear. There's built-in lighting as well that you can keep on solid, pulsing, or just turn off completely if you'd like. And then there is actually a temperature readout on the back as well, which is a really nice, fun little touch. You can also toggle on and off the charging here, which is really great because the main purpose for this is for those really intensive tasks on your phone, i.e. gaming as the main option. But maybe if you're doing video editing or anything else crazy like that, I've heard a lot of people with their phones overheating with the Apple Intelligence, playground type of features, things like that. Anything super intensive can just really heat up your phone. So having that active cooling is going to do a lot for the overall battery life and the overall battery health long term outside of that specific charge. I wasn't able to quantify any definitive charging speed differences with or without the fan. Unfortunately, it's just kind of tough to judge and get an exact, A to B type of comparison, but it is a Qi 2 wireless charging puck, so it'll offer the full 15 watts for iPhone 16 or newer users if you're watching this in the future. A little bit bulkier than your typical MagSafe charging puck, but if you need that extra cooling, if you're someone that does a lot of gaming on your phone or anything really intensive that heats it up, might be worth checking into. Got a little multi-tool up next. This is the MecArmy RL4 Prybar. So this is mainly a Prybar, but with some built-in functionality that I really like. It's 3.75 inches in length. You have a full titanium body. They do make a steel version as well, but where it gets interesting, you have a little lever on the side here, and you pop this out and you have storage for 3 precision bits. It does come with 3 two-sided bits, but it's compatible with any sort of precision bits if you want to put them in there. So you can pop that back in place. And if you look on the back side here, you have a little precision bit holder. So you have some additional functionality outside of the normal Prybar. I'm not typically a big Prybar person. I can understand the utility for sure, but it's just never been something I felt like I need to carry. Adding extra functionality gives more of an excuse for me, at least. And I think if you're a dedicated, always Prybar type of person, who doesn't want some extra precision bits on them if their glasses get damaged or tech or anything like that when they're on the go. Next up, we have the MetMo Piston, a real rare sighting for me to talk about a fidget toy, but this one felt really special. And I know I'm in the minority, and I've had a lot of fun testing this thing out. If you're a CNC or engineering type of nerd, I think you're gonna like it. This is a piston fidget toy without any sort of springs or magnets or anything inside. It's precision pneumatics, as they say. It's an aerodynamic bearing, so it's supported completely with air and the precision engineering to be able to keep it in place. I thought that was super cool. MetMo makes a lot of really useful tools that I do love and use all the time. The MetMo Pocket Driver and the MetMo Grip are 2 of my absolute favorites, but they have a few of these sort of CNC, fidgety toy type of things, and this one just looked too good to pass up and not talk about. You have this piston mechanism that you can play with and mess around with and launch it out of the thing. It's made with HTB1 high tensile brass. It's 60 millimeters long and it weighs 150 grams, so it can kind of double as a brass paperweight in addition to the fidget toy functionality. Again, this was the perfect fit for this type of thing here. It's not something that's super useful and functional, but it fits in this sort of one-of-a-kind series. That's why I love to do this. I get all of these weird niche things that wouldn't necessarily work anywhere else, but are still really cool and definitely worth talking about. So the MetMo Piston, I believe it's actually back ordered for quite a few months right now. The last I looked, the shipping was August, but take a look. I know they have their big cube thing that's been around for a few years as well. If you're into that sort of precision CNC engineering or fidget toys, definitely worth a closer look. Next up, we got another multi-tool. This is the Titanier TiSpanner 3.0. So this is the newest version of the TiSpanner. I actually did take a look at the 2.0 when that came out a while back. It was essentially just a lot smaller with a little bit less functionality. Most of the issues I had with that have been solved here. I've been really liking this thing. It's a little mini adjustable spanner or wrench with a few extra things added in for additional functionality. On the wrench end, you have a bottle opener and a nail puller on either side. On the bottom end, you have a little attacking head or glass breaker type of thing. I think they don't advertise it as a glass breaker, so don't hold me to that. And on the sides, you have a nail file on one side, but my favorite part here on the other side is you have a little magnetic precision bit storage slot. If you can't already tell, I'm a big fan of precision bit drivers. Working on tech or anything, it's always something that comes in handy. One thing that was a little disappointing though, I do think this is a proprietary shape to be able to fit into the slot. So you won't be able to swap it out for whatever other precision bits if there's a particular one that you use all the time. But nonetheless, it's added functionality and I think it's pretty solid. One other tweak from the previous version, aside from the size and the added functionality, they added some common sizes down here. So when you're adjusting the wrench to use it, you don't have to fiddle as much with a few of the common sizes. I thought that was a nice little touch. Overall, I think this is so much better than the previous 2.0 version. Just with this extra size alone, makes it much more functional and much more versatile and useful. I've been really enjoying it. I think it launches on Kickstarter sometime in the next few days. I jumped the gun a little bit here with this video. Hopefully they'll forgive me and you'll forgive me with that, but I really wanted to show it and it was the perfect fit for this video. But that is actually the end of the list. I really hope you enjoyed this one. Apologies if I seem a little funky, and apologies for the delay in the video. I've been ravaged with a really severe fever and flu for the past week. Finally getting out of bed and moving now. I'm a little tired, but feeling mostly okay now. I've been sick twice this year, and I am someone that rarely gets sick. It has been quite a few years since I've been sick before this, so it has been a brutal 2025 so far, just getting sick over and over again. Bear with me as I heal up. I feel like my brain's been just sous vide for the past week, so I might be a little bit mushy. Thank you all so much for watching, though. I'd love to hear if you have any unique EDC gear down below. Leave it in the comments. Let's chat about it. I always am wondering when I'll be able to make another one of these, and I just keep finding cool stuff to add to the series. So hopefully you enjoy it. I always do. Thank you so much for watching, though, and I'll talk to you in the next one.